Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that everything you've been chasing, success, happiness, respect, has been just out of reach because you've been putting everyone else first? What if I told you that 2026 could be the year you finally stop running on empty, stop living for everyone else, and start living for yourself? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why prioritizing yourself isn't selfish. It's the most powerful choice you can make, and how doing it will completely transform your life, your energy, and your future. Are you ready to step into the life you were meant to lead? Ladies and gentlemen, imagine standing at the edge of a new year, 2026, with the same routines, the same obligations, and the same self-imposed limitations. Now, imagine what could happen if, for the first time in a long time, you decided to put yourself first, not selfishly, but intentionally, courageously, and unapologetically. The truth is, we often operate as if we are expendable, as if our own dreams, our own growth, our own well-being are secondary to everything else in our lives. We wake up, we show up for everyone else, and by the end of the day, there's nothing left for us. But what if that changes this year? What if, in 2026, you decide to show up for yourself first? Putting yourself first doesn't mean neglecting responsibilities. It doesn't mean ignoring others' needs. It means recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. It means understanding that your energy, your focus, your clarity, and your health are the foundations upon which everything else depends. Think about it. If you don't take care of your own growth, your own emotional and physical well-being, how effective can you really be in helping others? How sustainable is a life that is built entirely on serving others while neglecting yourself? And here's the thing, the people who put themselves first are not the people who are selfish. They are the people who are intentional. They are the people who understand that boundaries are not walls, but bridges. They know that saying no to something that drains them is actually saying yes to something far more important. Their own vision, their own purpose, their own potential. When you put yourself first, you create space to think clearly, space to make better decisions, space to be fully present in every interaction. So what does it really look like to put yourself first in 2026? It means prioritizing your time like it's the most valuable currency in the world, because it is. It means investing in yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. It means showing up to your own life with the same passion and discipline that you show up to other people's lives. It means asking yourself every day, am I living this day in a way that honors my own growth, my own values, my own purpose? And here's the challenge, putting yourself first is uncomfortable. Our culture has taught us that prioritizing ourselves is selfish. We feel guilty. We feel like we're letting others down. But the truth is, when you show up fully for yourself, you show up better for everyone else. You bring more clarity, more energy, more authenticity into every relationship, every project, every goal. You become the person who inspires not because you're perfect, but because you're fully alive, fully present, and fully committed to living your own life on your own terms. In 2026, I challenge you to make a decision. No more waiting for permission, no more putting your own growth on the back burner. Decide today that your dreams, your health, your vision, and your well-being are non-negotiable. Decide that the life you want is worth the discipline, the boundaries, and yes, even the discomfort that comes with prioritizing yourself. When you do this, everything changes not just for you, but for everyone whose life you touch. You become unstoppable, not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because you finally become the person who is capable of handling everything life throws at you. This year, put yourself first, lead your own life, protect your own energy, prioritize your own growth, and watch how the world responds when you finally step into the person you were meant to be. When you put yourself first, something remarkable happens. You start to notice patterns in your life that were invisible before. You begin to see where your energy is being drained, where your time is being stolen, and where your attention is being scattered. Suddenly, the small compromises that seemed harmless before now feel like compromises of your own future. You realize that every yes you give out of obligation, every moment you spend trying to please someone else at the expense of your own growth, comes with a hidden cost, a cost that accumulates silently until one day you wake up feeling exhausted, resentful, or stuck. Putting yourself first allows you to reclaim control. It allows you to choose deliberately how you invest your time, who you spend your energy on, and what projects or relationships deserve your focus. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who seem to have it all together, who inspire, who lead, who create impact. They all have one thing in common: they prioritize themselves first. They have the courage to say no to the distractions that don't serve their mission. They have the discipline to protect their mental and physical energy. They have the foresight to invest in their skills, their health, and their mindset, and because they invest in themselves, they have more to give. They show up fully, authentically, and intentionally. That's what makes their leadership magnetic, their influence lasting, and their success inevitable. Putting yourself first in 2026 also means redefining what success looks like for you. Too often, we measure success by external markers, titles, salaries, social validation. But when you put yourself first, you start to understand that true success is not a trophy or a paycheck. True success is alignment. Alignment between your actions and your values, between your days and your vision, between your heart and your purpose. True success is waking up and feeling that the life you are living is yours, that it reflects your choices, your priorities, your courage. When you operate from alignment, the world no longer dictates the rules. You do, and there is a deeper level to this. Putting yourself first is not only about managing time or energy, it's about mastering your mindset. It's about recognizing that self-doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs are not just internal obstacles. They are the very forces that keep you from stepping into your full potential. When you commit to yourself first, you are committing to confront those fears, challenge those beliefs, and push beyond the boundaries that have held you back. You are choosing to believe that your dreams are worthy, that your goals are valid, and that your life matters. And when you operate from that belief, everything changes. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach become attainable. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities for growth. Obstacles that once felt like dead ends become lessons that propel you forward. Putting yourself first also requires courage, the courage to be uncomfortable, the courage to set boundaries, and the courage to break patterns that no longer serve you. It means letting go of guilt, letting go of the need for external validation, and letting go of the expectation that everyone else's agenda is more important than your own. It's uncomfortable because it challenges the status quo. It's uncomfortable because it forces you to face the truth about how you've been living and the choices you've been making. But discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Discomfort is the signal that you are stepping into something bigger, something more meaningful, something that truly belongs to you. When you put yourself first, you also inspire others to do the same. You become a living example of what is possible when someone decides that their life is worth prioritizing. You show others that setting boundaries is not weakness, that self-care is not selfish, and that personal growth is not optional, it's essential. And in doing so, you create a ripple effect. The energy you protect and nurture radiates outward. The clarity you gain illuminates the path for those around you. The courage you demonstrate becomes permission for others to step into their own lives with the same intentionality and commitment. In 2026, putting yourself first is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It is the foundation upon which everything else in your life will be built. It is the catalyst for clarity, courage, and confidence. It is the difference between merely existing and truly living. When you start with yourself, everything else falls into place, not by accident, but because you are no longer a passive participant in your own life. You are leading it, you are designing it, you are shaping it according to your values, your vision, and your purpose. This year, make the choice to put yourself first in every decision, every action, every interaction. Protect your energy, guard your time, invest in your growth, challenge your limits, and embrace the life you have the power to create. The person you become in this process is unstoppable not because life is easy, but because you have decided to make yourself the priority, the driver, and the leader of your own journey. When you put yourself first, you begin to understand that your time is finite and incredibly valuable. Every day is a non-renewable resource, and how you spend it defines the trajectory of your life. In 2026, choosing to prioritize yourself is not about indulging, it's about strategy. It's about asking yourself, what investments in myself today will pay the highest dividends tomorrow? It's about carefully selecting the people, the projects, and the habits that fuel your growth rather than deplete it. It's about rejecting distractions and low-impact tasks that pull you away from your vision and embracing the work that stretches you, challenges you, and moves you closer to becoming the person you are capable of being. Putting yourself first also means mastering the art of saying no. It's one of the simplest yet most profound skills you can cultivate. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you are simultaneously saying yes to your future. You are creating the space to focus on what truly matters, and yes, saying no can feel uncomfortable because it often triggers resistance from others and from within yourself. But the truth is, every no you give with intention, every boundary you set with clarity, is an act of empowerment. It's a declaration that your life is yours to design, that your energy is yours to steward, and that your growth is non-negotiable. And here's where most people fail. They underestimate the compounding power of small, consistent choices. Putting yourself first isn't about making one grand gesture or taking one huge leap. It's about the daily habits, the small decisions, the micro boundaries that accumulate over time to produce extraordinary results. It's choosing to read that extra chapter, to meditate for 10 minutes, to exercise even when you're tired, to set a hard stop on work emails, to spend quality time alone reflecting on your goals. Each of these seemingly small actions compounds, creating a momentum that carries you further than you could have imagined. In 2026, make it your mission to harness the power of these small wins consistently. Putting yourself first also challenges you to examine your relationships. Not every connection deserves equal energy. Some relationships drain, some energize, and some simply exist out of habit. When you prioritize yourself, you develop the clarity to discern which relationships elevate you and which ones hold you back. This is not about cutting people off indiscriminately. It's about choosing presence wisely. It's about investing in the people who inspire you, challenge you, and support your growth, while respectfully managing or reducing exposure to those who perpetually drain your energy. Another crucial aspect of putting yourself first is emotional ownership. Too often, we allow others' opinions, criticisms, or expectations to dictate our sense of worth and our decisions. In 2026, decide that you will take ownership of your emotions. You will not hand over your sense of peace, motivation, or happiness to someone else. You will take responsibility for your mindset, and you will cultivate resilience. You will choose to respond rather than react, to lead rather than follow, to act rather than defer. Emotional ownership is the cornerstone of personal power. Without it, putting yourself first becomes impossible because you remain at the mercy of external forces rather than being the architect of your own life. Putting yourself first also means committing to lifelong growth. It's understanding that your potential is not fixed and that every year, every month, every day is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Learning, reflecting, experimenting, and even failing intentionally are all part of this process. Growth requires patience, discipline, and honesty. Honesty with yourself about where you are and where you need to go. In 2026, make learning, evolving, and expanding your capacity a non-negotiable priority. The person who invests in their own growth first is the person who influences, inspires, and leads most effectively. And let's talk about courage. Putting yourself first demands courage, the courage to stand alone if necessary, the courage to make unpopular choices, the courage to face your own discomfort, and the courage to challenge the inertia that has kept you from prioritizing yourself for so long. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. In 2026, let courage guide your decisions. Let it be the compass that ensures your actions align with your values, your vision, and your purpose. Finally, putting yourself first transforms how the world interacts with you. When you are intentional, focused, and fully present in your own life, you radiate a clarity and strength that others cannot ignore. Opportunities that once passed by unnoticed will start to present themselves. People will respect your boundaries, admire your discipline, and be drawn to your energy. And you will begin to realize that prioritizing yourself is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of leadership, of influence, and of legacy. In 2026, commit to this. Put yourself first in thought, in action, in discipline, and in presence. Protect your energy, invest in your growth, set boundaries with clarity, and act with courage. When you do, you will not only transform your own life, but you will also become the catalyst for transformation in the lives of everyone you touch. You will become unstoppable, not because life becomes easier, but because you have chosen to be the leader of your own journey, fully present, fully intentional, and fully alive. When you truly put yourself first, you begin to understand the distinction between living reactively and living intentionally. Most people move through life as if they are passengers, letting circumstances, obligations, and the expectations of others dictate their days. But when you prioritize yourself, you reclaim the driver's seat. You make decisions deliberately, aligned with your purpose and your vision. You choose where your energy goes, how your time is spent, and what standards you hold yourself to. In 2026, the difference between merely existing and truly thriving will come down to this single choice. Will you lead your own life, or will you let life lead you? Putting yourself first also reshapes your relationship with failure. When your focus is on serving yourself, on growing, learning, and creating your own path, failure is no longer a threat, it becomes a signal. It becomes feedback. Every setback, every mistake, every moment of discomfort is a clue pointing you toward a better strategy, a deeper understanding, or a more aligned choice. People who put themselves first don't fear failure. They embrace it because they know it is part of the journey. They understand that the person they are becoming is forged in the crucible of challenge, not in the comfort of conformity. In 2026, let failure be your teacher, not your jailer. Putting yourself first also requires a radical honesty with yourself. It means facing the truths you have been avoiding, whether it's about your habits, your mindset, or the relationships in your life. It's easy to coast through life, to make excuses, to blame circumstances or other people. But if you want to step into the life you deserve, you must face yourself honestly. You must identify where you are sabotaging your own growth, where fear has dictated your choices, and where comfort has been masquerading as contentment. Only when you confront these truths can you start to make meaningful change, and putting yourself first gives you the courage to do exactly that. Prioritizing yourself also changes the way you engage with the world. When you are clear, centered, and aligned, your interactions with others are no longer transactional. They are purposeful. You give from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You listen more deeply, act more intentionally, and inspire more powerfully. People are drawn to clarity and conviction, and when you operate from a space of self-prioritization, you naturally attract opportunities, partnerships, and relationships that reflect your values. You stop chasing validation and start earning respect, not through obligation, but through authenticity. And here's another dimension. Putting yourself first transforms how you measure progress. Success is no longer about keeping up with someone else's agenda or checking off boxes imposed by society. Instead, success becomes internal. It becomes about whether you are growing, whether you are challenging yourself, whether your actions are aligned with your highest priorities. It becomes about whether you are building momentum in the direction of your dreams. Every day becomes a measurement of your commitment to yourself, and every decision either reinforces that commitment or erodes it. Putting yourself first also means embracing solitude and reflection. So often, people are afraid of being alone, of sitting in their own thoughts, because it forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. But solitude is where clarity emerges, it's where ideas are born, it's where you evaluate what matters, what doesn't, and where you want to go next. In 2026, make space for reflection a cornerstone of your routine. Let your own voice be the loudest one you hear. Let your vision guide your actions and let your priorities define the life you create. Equally important is understanding that putting yourself first requires discipline. It's easy to say, I will prioritize myself, but much harder to act on it consistently. Discipline is what turns intention into results. Discipline is what allows you to wake up early to focus on your goals, to set boundaries even when it's uncomfortable, to invest in your growth even when progress feels slow. It's what separates those who merely dream from those who achieve. In 2026, let discipline be your constant companion as you prioritize your life and your vision. Finally, putting yourself first is a profound act of self-respect. It's a statement to yourself and the world that your time, energy, and potential are invaluable. It's an acknowledgement that you are worthy of the investment required to become the person you are meant to be. When you operate from self-respect, you stop settling. You stop compromising your values. You stop allowing distractions, negativity, or mediocrity to dictate the terms of your life. You step into a space where your growth is protected, your purpose is prioritized, and your life is led intentionally. In 2026, putting yourself first will not be optional, it will be essential. It will define how far you go, how much impact you have, and the kind of legacy you leave. Every choice you make, every boundary you set, every investment in your growth compounds into the person you are becoming. By putting yourself first, you will cultivate clarity, courage, and resilience. You will step into the kind of power that cannot be taken away. You will lead not just a life, but a life fully owned, fully designed, and fully realized.